Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Great to see you. Hope your weekend is off to a fantastic start. Sorry, I accidentally hit the wrong button there and put you into the credits, but I hope your Friday's going well and your weekend's off to a good start. Good to see so many folks already gathered here. Let's get right into it and see who we've got. So, Corvette Jim, good to see you tonight, Jim. Steve Russell, Jeffrey Feinberg, Hillbilly Piper, Ron Hardcrackers, hello Ron, I'm right here. Smarty Bob, good to see you tonight. Cliff Higgins, hey there Cliff, good to see you my good man. Bear Wolf and Miss Kathy, hello Steve and Kathy, good to see you tonight. Scott at the 16th day, Paul Johnson, Bob Kraus, Name That Pipe, hello there. And Gary Edminster. Street Glide Piper, how you doing, Josh? And the Progress Piper, good to see you, Mick. Sailor. And tonight, Sailor has got a Nording freehand with old Joe Krantz and some JW on the side. Very nice, Sailor. The Tunnel Take, how's it doing, Greg? Texas Piper, good to see you, Eddie. Kevin Beringer. Wonderful. I have the Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli with Haunted Bookshop, of course. Got something a little different coming up later. It is a pipe this time. Some people were really surprised by the cigar last week. Armchair Piper, hello Ed. And Pondering with Pepe's Pipes. Good to see you tonight, Pepe. So it's Friday. Boy, the week flew by. It was a really fast week. But you know, that's the way life is sometimes. Got our furnace work completed today, which is great. We had to get a new coil put in and that heats the water, or the water heats as it goes through the coil. And unfortunately, it had actually started to leak, so it caused some damage inside the furnace, but it wasn't anything that was, you know, in need of replacement. He said if we didn't catch it, it would have gotten a lot worse. So we're lucky there. Of course, they always say that when you're signing the check. But same guy that was here last time. I don't remember if I talked about that on the live stream or if it was the Sunday video, but he's a great guy, pipe smoker, very professional, very just willing to explain things to my wife, and she's a gem. She wants to understand it, and he was very patient with her. So yeah, good experience overall. Texas Piper, not smoking tonight, but he's finally starting to feel better after his cold and bronchitis. Oh well, glad to hear that, Eddie. Hope you continue to be on the mend and you're back to the pipe soon. No, Kevin, no cigar. He was actually in and out pretty quick. I was actually stuck in a meeting the whole time he was here, so I just got to wave to him quickly as he went by. But I think he had a lot to get done today, so he was pretty much all business. And Kirk from Florida, how you doing, Kirk? Good to see you tonight. Yeah, and we had some interesting weather this morning. We got, I know further west, I heard from my buddy the Durham Duke last night, and they got like an inch of sleet. That storm hit us this morning, and I guess it had warmed up enough that what we got was early in the morning, we got rather significant icing in the trees and stuff, which of course causes limbs to fall and whatnot. But it never really iced the sidewalks or the street, and it was like 40 something, 47 I think by noon. So really not too bad. Very very dramatic looking. All the blades of grass were covered in ice, so it just had this sort of surreal look to it. And we're pretty certain that we lost internet for a while, network connectivity, and I think one of the tree limbs did something. So this meeting that I had for work today, I actually had to turn my phone into a hotspot and do that, but yeah, it worked out fine. Yes, Kevin, Mrs. CaneRod is one tough customer. Believe me, I've tried to negotiate with her and I always lose. But she's a good one. I don't have to negotiate too often. Gary Edminster, happy Friday to you, my friend. Oh, Greg, that's going to be a even longer ride for you, huh? If you go to Muletown. .777, good to see you, buddy. Puffing on his favorite billiard with some Turkish and Stowe, Virginia. Sounds wonderful. WKR Piper in Cincinnati. Hello, Odie. Good to see you tonight. I do have a beverage tonight. It's a strange one. I'm out of beer, and I didn't want to have just a shot. And I wasn't really in a martini mood. What I really wanted was a highball. But I've only got, of course I can't remember the name of the bourbon now. I think it's actually, it's either Old Forester or Founder's rye. Yeah, it's a rye whiskey. It's not bourbon. And I only have a little bit left, and I didn't want to use it in a highball. So I made a ginger ale, is what I'm calling it. It's gin and ginger ale. It tastes fine, and I'm waiting for Doug Owen to show up because Doug will tell me that it's actually already known and it's called something, because he always does that to me. Signum Antony from Rhode Island. Hello, my friend. Good to see you tonight. And Big Country Briar. How you doing, Cole? Oh, he's playing Clue, so he's got to go. Fantastic. Thanks for stopping in there, Big Country Briar. Piper on the 45. You think this is a normal conversation, huh? I appreciate the compliment, Piper on the 45. It is pretty good there, Eddie. It's the gin comes through. You can taste it, but it's not overpowering, and works with the ginger ale pretty nicely. I wonder if that counts as a shandy. I'm trying to remember what a shandy is actually. Not the summer shandy beer thing, but there's actually a class of drinks that are known as shandies. And I only know about this because I was researching shandy gaff at one point, and that led me down a rabbit hole of shandies. This is true, Piper on the 45. I don't know where your bar is set for normal conversation. Gary, I try to fix things myself as well. I don't know if you're referring to the furnace. I don't try to fix furnaces. I draw the line there just because if you break them, you don't, well, in my case, my furnace is also my hot water heater, so I wouldn't have any hot water, I wouldn't have any heat, and yeah, there's some things I've just, and maybe this is age talking, but I just let the pros do it now. But, anything else around the house for the most part. Furnace, air conditioner, actually cars anymore, because they're so complicated, I don't know where to begin. I lift up the hood and I go, I don't know what any of that is. Tim Fournier, I have I have not opened the Stonehenge flake. It's got to wait in line for quite a while. I got a lot of stuff to finish up, but I'm sure it will be an 11. President's Day VR got is that me, Smarty Bob? I didn't know there was a Best Presenter award, but I'm quite proud if it was me. Gary got ice and snow today, huh? I saw somebody, Corvette Jim has got a Jack and Coke. Sounds good, Jim. WKR Piper, Michter's Barrel Proof, and 10-year rye on the shelf. 10-year rye is tough to get and pricey, but extremely good. I really enjoy a good rye. It's there's a world of difference between a good rye and a not so good rye too. Oh, Jim, you earned that drink. Paul Johnson, that's kind of you, my friend. But I wouldn't let you do it for free. There'd be beer and tobacco for sure. Tobacco Pipes International. Hello, Mark. Good to see you tonight. Got you, Paul. HVAC contractor. They're good people to know. I have in my day job, we're in the middle of a monumentally stupid undertaking, and I had nothing to do with this. It was just dropped on me. So we work in a building. I'm a research scientist, and they decided, hey, wouldn't it be a great idea to put an addition onto the building that's roughly half the size of the existing building, and let's do that and not move anybody. We'll just work around them. And a lot of the work we do is noise sensitive. And it's a problem because this building, it's not old, but it's old enough that it's been, retrofit several times, and nobody really knows where anything's going, in terms of the wiring and the HVAC and all that stuff. They have to trace everything. And so this is a 4-year project, and I am on this committee. I'm representing a portion of the science that goes on in the building that has to meet 3 times a week and listen to, things about the HVAC systems and the electrical panels and cranes and crane lifts. And and this is a completely foreign world to me. I've learned more about HVAC than I ever thought I'd want to know. Hillbilly Piper just finished eating homemade biscuits and sausage gravy. You're a lucky man, Hillbilly Piper. Street Glide's got Rolling Rock. That's some good stuff too. Too full to smoke. Wow, Hillbilly Piper, that's pretty full. Welsh Piper 62, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Gary Edminster had some Bombay Blue Sapphire last night. That's nice stuff. I'm drinking Tanqueray. It's a good question, Eddie. I'm clearly doing penance for something. And yeah, Jim, committees are always a bad thing, but when it's a 4-year project and you're stuck on it for 4 years, it's special. Haven't tried the shimming yet, Mark. I'm going to do it, but I just haven't had the time. Oh, would yeah. I translated TPI. Is it a slow? I don't know, Hillbilly Piper. I don't actually know what constitutes a slow gin. I think slow gin is, well, I don't know. Slow gin is a type of gin that's made from some berries or something that I can't think of now. Um, but then there's a slow gin fizz that probably doesn't necessarily use slow gin. I don't know. I need Doug Owen. He's my cocktail guru. Pipe Time's got some H&H Pure Virginia and a cob with some neat vodka. Very nice. It could be an attempt to push me into retirement, Streetglide, but I'm tougher than that. Especially since I don't have to be in the room with them. If I had to actually go to these meetings, they would have probably fired me by now. Yeah, that's the slow gin I'm thinking of, Welsh Pipers. What is that made from? It's made from some berries that are like only around for a short time every year. I can't think of which berries they are. Is it? It's not elderberry, I don't think. Philadelphia Piper's got some Sam Gawith Commonwealth mixture, Peterson St. Patrick 2021, shape 999, and he's drinking some homemade mead with peaches. Wow, sounds like a great combination. No, it's not juniper, Odie. Juniper is regular gin, but this slow gin is something else, and I just can't think of what it is. There you go, Piper on the 45, C&D House Reserve, and a custom built and Old Forester and a Mickey Mouse glass. It does not get any better than that. Lord Hogarth, slow gin has plum, could be, and he's having a very, very dry Beefeater martini. Slows are a type of berry. Okay, so they're actually a slow berry. Now I see guys talking about juniper berries. The gin is definitely juniper berries, but sloe gin, SLOE, is something else. It's something different. That's interesting, Eddie. Yeah, yeah, I saw that. I actually saw that with DDR and the smoking during the conference call, and I commented on that. You know, I can't do it simply because most of the time I'm meeting with outside individuals and I'm representing the company that I work for, and I don't know how they're going to take it. So I have to be really careful about that. But if it was just, you know, folks I worked with, folks I knew, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Andrew Sirigliano, good to see you tonight, Andrew. So it is the slow berry. Okay. Thank you, Philadelphia Piper. And they're called the slow berry because they're easy to catch. That's a bad joke. I'm sorry. No, it's not the first live suggest about the Pelican Becky Welsh Piper. We do that pretty much we do this every week. Did I show you the Pelican tin? I showed it on the next live. Beowulf and Miss Kathy, you're heading out already. Well, thank you for joining us. You have a great weekend. You might have noticed I'm in it at a different angle again. And that's because I had to move everything again to let them work on the furnace. And I don't like this angle because I have to turn too far to get to the drink now. So I'll have to play with this. I do like that I've got most of the artwork in shot, but yeah, I'll think of something. Not getting notifications. That happens sometimes, Welsh Piper, and all I can say is click that bell, and if you've clicked it already, unclick it and click it again. I don't know. YouTube doesn't really like us. And also, I've been a bit late in getting the lives scheduled, so it might be partly my fault. I used to always schedule them on Wednesday, and that's kind of shifted off to Thursday. I've even done it on Friday a couple times recently. Eddie, I haven't heard from Everett today, although I've seen him post on Instagram. So he seems to be doing okay. Elderberry wine. Haven't had that in a long time, Gary. I think I'm coming close to the bottom of the Haunted Bookshop bowl here. Yeah, Lord Hogarth, I get that. I mean, it just depends on, what you're trying to... Yeah, if it's just you personally and you want to tell them to hit the bricks, that's fine. But if you're representing a company or a brand or something, people have different opinions on it, and it's fine. Hood Canal Piper, hello, how you doing tonight, David? I don't think we can figure anything out at this point, Sailor. It's too early. So I had some excitement yesterday, and I say that somewhat facetiously. Excuse me, I'm going to turn around the switch pipes here. Yeah, haven't fixed that creaking yet, Mark. I'm probably gonna tell this story in full on Sunday, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but I dropped my phone in water. And boy, if you ever want to realize how much you depend on one of those devices, just drop it in water. I learned pretty quickly that I was screwed for a while. I got it out quickly. I was able to dry it and put it in some desiccant, and everything turned out fine. But for a while there, it was difficult just to be able to keep in touch with folks. You know, sometimes I have to use it as a hotspot for work and stuff, and it disturbed me how strange it was to be without that for the 6 hours or so where I had it drying. So I am going to switch over to this J. Mouton billiard. Beautiful pipe. This is the first pipe I bought from Jason. It's got oxhorn shank extension here and military mount bit. Really wonderful billiard. And I'm going to be smoking some of this Sunset Harbor Flake. This will be about my 5th bowl of this. I'll probably go into more detail on this on Sunday as well, but yeah, it's okay. Lord Hogarth dropped it in a public toilet. Yeah, you buy a new phone. Thank you, Pipe Time. Yes, Texas Piper. The Latakia wave does indeed continue, although I think it's just about to reach its end. But I learned a lot this time. For the guys that don't know what we're talking about, I seem to despise Latakia for most of the year, but sometime in the winter I usually get this craving, and it'll sometimes last a week, sometimes last a month. This one lasted a little bit longer than a month. No, Andrew, Mike from Pipe and Tamper did not pay me off, but I think he's the reason I bought it. It's a funny story, actually. So I placed a tobacco order back in early December. And it came in right around the time when my wife was panicking about Christmas presents. So I said, well, look, just take that box and wrap it. It's fine. She knew it was from smoking pipes, and it was mostly, I think it was 2 pounds of Haunted Bookshop and then a couple of tins. And she did. She took it and wrapped it, and I forgot about it. And on Christmas Day, I opened up this box, and I thought, oh, tobacco. And I had completely forgotten what I had ordered. And I pull out this Sunset Harbor Flake, and I'm like, why in the world did I buy this? I couldn't for the life of me understand why I would buy this. And a couple days later, I see on Instagram that Mike, Pipe and Tamper podcast, puts up this picture of like, a ridiculous number of tins. It had to be at least 20 tins of the stuff that he had just gotten in. And it clicked that I was listening to the podcast before I was placing this order, and I thought, let me give that a try. He talks about it all the time. So yeah, it was his fault that I bought it. And I use the word fault in a strong sense because this is it's not bad. It's not bad. And in fact, if you're an English guy or Balkan guy, you might even say it's good. But it's kind of boring to me, and it suffers from a distinct lack of burley. Yeah, Odie, I think he has it actually delivered on pallets. Burley Piper, I did finish the Big and Burley. It was not easy. Big Country Briar's done playing Clue, and it was Dr. Work It in the Hole with a Knife. Patrick Grant, how you doing, Patrick? It is Gary. Okay. Oh, it is. Oh, I got you now. Peterson Piper 264. Nelly sent you some Haunted Bookshop. Fantastic. I hope you enjoy it. If you don't, put it in a jar and give it a couple of weeks. You'd be surprised. A lot of guys try it once, and it takes a little bit of time to get to understand Haunted Bookshop. Actually, Eddie, they don't put it on pallets anymore. I just get it in bales like hay. Doug Owen. Hello, Doug. Good to see you tonight. Paul Johnson. I do like Orientals in some blends. In this one, I really don't get the Orientals. So this is a blend that is entirely composed of Latakia, Perique, and Orientals. I think it's Izmir. And I cannot taste the Orientals in this. But sometimes the Orientals just add a little edge to things, like just a little sourness or a little sharpness. Sometimes they're not very prominent. It's more about what they do to the other flavors. That's good advice, Texas Piper. Yeah, I mean it's hard to do sometimes, but I firmly believe that once you open a tin, you should finish that tin. And it's okay to put it away for a while and bring it out again, but I'm not a fan of smoking one bowl and then throwing it out or giving it to somebody. You gotta give it a try. And really, if you can get through the whole thing and say you don't like it, then you don't like it. But until you really force yourself to get through that tin, you're not going to know. Oh, Doug, I'm smoking Sunset Harbor Flake and wishing it wasn't. Everett Young, hello, my friend. Good to see you tonight. Jeff Neisler. Not Neisler? Sorry, Jeff. Smoking a bowl of 8-year-old Haunted Bookshop in a vintage GBD virgin shaped 9487. Small square shaped apple with a saddle stem. And he's doing that in my honor, Jeff? Well, that's quite nice of you. Never heard of Haunted Books. I've got some that's probably close to that old. I've probably got some 7-year-old in my cellar. Everett Young smoking haunted bookshop in the carved head pipe. Very nice pipe. I saw it on Instagram. Gift from Pipes and Bees. Oh, Gary, that must have been wonderful smoking pipes with your grandfather. That's a good memory. Stratman says as if he's not careful, haunted bookshop smokes him on an empty stomach. Yeah, I understand it does have a bit of a kick to it. No, Welsh Piper, we don't see Nellie enough. I understand she's busy though. Oh, it's getting close, Everett. 2 weeks, huh? Well, I'm leaving the haunted bookshop for you. I've got plenty right now. Couch, thank you, sir. Let's see. There we go. Thank you so much. And the kitten still hates Ilva. Couch, in case you didn't know, got a new kitten. And Ilva, Couch's dog, doesn't mind the kitten, but the kitten is not too happy with Ilva. Jose Cavendish, hello. Good to see you. I've got to figure this out. Excuse me for 1 minute. It's very odd. So when I press the foghorn, it seems to reset the video to sometime in the past. Well, now I'm not getting any video at all. And I just find it disconcerting to see myself that far in the past. Well, hopefully that'll fix it. The problem is the software I'm using keys on the keyboard to trigger sounds or change scenes and things like that. And YouTube interprets some of those keys for certain things. So apparently if you press the number 2, it takes you back in time for some reason. I don't know. I'm sure that fascinated you all. First time I smoked pirate cake and nightcap, both are swell and both took time to smoke and get used to. Yeah, Pepe, it does take time. The superpowers of the YTPC at Muletown in 3 weeks. There you go, Jim. Michael Case. Yes, I invented a time machine, apparently. Well, YouTube invented it. I can't take too much credit. I just stumbled upon it. Gary Edminster's got a new tin of pirate cake to open. How about that? I envy you guys going to Muletown. I really hope, things are clearly getting better here, so All right, Mark TPI, thanks for joining us tonight. You have a great weekend, buddy. So I'm going back to work. March 7th, they basically have gotten rid of all restrictions. It's a little more complicated than that, but for the most part, they've gotten rid of all restrictions. So no more masking, no more social distancing, any of that stuff. And that's just happens to be the week that I'm able to drive again and everything post-surgery. So it works out perfectly for me. Gary Edminster, I think he called it Haunted Pirate Ship. And it was a half and half mix of Haunted Bookshop and Pirate Cake. Yes, Everett, folks were asking for you earlier, and it's good to hear that your mom had a good day. I know it's still very serious, but we certainly all are keeping you and your whole family in our thoughts and prayers. Wait a minute, I need my glasses for this one, Cliff. When Dale Piper heard that your wife is going to Muletown with you, Moo Flabber has never been sog-hatted. Cliff, that's wonderful, I think. Dot dot, is it a metal lathe or a wood lathe? Michael Case is having some I hate Rob Manfred and appears in Sherlock Holmes. Fantastic, Michael. Jeff, the J Mouton is smoking fantastic. Every pipe I have from him does. I mean, Jason is, I have a fair number of Artisan pipes, and Jason has really become my favorite pipe maker. And I know I'm a fanboy, so I say that I'm not trying to plug him or anything, but I just have always been impressed with every pipe I've gotten from him. And if the postal gods smile upon me, I will have another one tomorrow. Oh, that sounds cool, Andrew. 90th anniversary edition of the Dunhill book. That sounds really cool. And Tim Fournier's approving of Michael Case's blend. Oh, wood lathe. Okay. So for my wood lathe, I just use. You don't want to have like oil or grease on it because it's going to the sawdust is going to stick to it, or the wood chips are going to stick to it. So for that, I just use some Johnson's paste wax or any kind of furniture wax. That keeps the rust off and keeps things sliding nicely. They do sell some special products. I forget what it's called, T something or the other, that you can get at woodworking supplies. It's like a spray-on. But the Johnson's paste wax works well for me, and I've been using that for, 20 some years, 30 some years. Now, metal lathes are different. You do want to use oil on those, and there's special whey oils and all that. That's why I asked the difference. But for the wood lathe, the less oil you've got, the better, because it's, well, one, you don't want it to get on your work, because then you've got difficulties with the finish. And two, it will just collect all the wood chips and make it harder to clean up. Flabber has never been so gasted. That makes more sense, Cliff. Yeah, Jeff, I highly recommend it. I'm glad the wax is working out for you, Andrew. I actually use that on all my woodworking tools, like on the top of the table saw, jointer, anything like that. Yeah, Doug, they've been ruining the nuances of the sport for a long time now, but I agree with you. Universal designated hitter, I'm done. Cliff is hitting the nitrous. So while there's a lull in the chat here, got a question. Been trying to think about things to do during this live stream. I don't mind what we're doing right now. It's, I love it, but I worry sometimes that it's boring as heck for you. And now, of course, the chat lights up. So I've been trying to think of like topics that we could do, or like we did last year. We did a night where it was just questions about pipe repair and restoration, and I'd like to do that again at some point. We had the dumb joke night that I really enjoyed, and I think a lot of people enjoyed, so probably do that again. And I asked for suggestions. I got a suggestion to do a live stream talking about stems, different stem materials, and whatnot. I don't really know if I could fill up a show with that, but questions maybe about stem care and maintenance, different materials, whatnot. Is that something that would be interesting? Why would the union want the DH in the National League? I don't understand that. It really is just ruining the game. What happened in baseball and cricket combined? You'd have a complete lack of strategy in games that lasted 3 days. Paul Johnson, Phil Rivera does beautiful metalwork. Yeah. Yeah, when they never work the same once you leave the smoke out Mission Mountaineer. Okay, I'm seeing some folks like STEM. Some people think it would be boring. I think it would be boring too, but I don't mind doing it. Jose Cavendish. So depending on who you talk to, Cumberland is so brindle ebonite is the correct term. So what you're calling Cumberland is actually a brindle ebonite. It's just ebonite with color. Um, Cumberland is a particular type of brindle ebonite, and to be honest with you, I couldn't pick Cumberland out, but that's what I've been told. I call them Cumberland just because I'm used to calling it that, but apparently the true correct term is brindle ebonite. Uh, but yeah, it's the same thing as ebonite, it's just color. No, not those stems, Tim. Well, it would be interesting, Doug, sort of a history of stem materials. Peterson Piper, I appreciate what you're saying about Rumble. All I was really doing was cross-posting what I did on YouTube just to kind of establish a place there, and I kind of stopped doing it just because it was just more work and very few people were watching it. So there was no interaction. It just wasn't fun. But I'm hoping that community does pick up. I'd love to do more there. Ah, Steve Russell's already asking a STEM question. Well, I answered the Cumberland question. So the twin bore stems were the idea behind those was that you could only make the bite zone so thin before people would bite through it because you had to have a certain size funneled airway in order to make it to have the pipe smoke correctly. And someone got the idea of instead of having just one airway, put two narrower airways in, and then you could make the stem thinner. And that worked beautifully, except you can't get a darn pipe cleaner in them. Thank you, Paul Johnson. That's very kind of you. I don't know how many stems you can get out of a 16-pound bowling ball, but I wouldn't want to be the guy that had to cut it up on the bend, so at least not that first cut. Yeah, that's true, Doug. You do see a lot of Bakelite, and Bakelite's a wonderful material. I made a couple of stems with it. It's very expensive though, but boy, it really can. It's got a great mouthfeel and it's beautiful. Glum Chum Piper, welcome, Matt. Good to see you tonight. Hillbilly Piper, how fast do you turn your bowls and stems? So, I don't do a lot of bowl turning. I've only just started to play with that, so I'm not gonna talk about bowls because I'm far from an expert. Stems I've done quite a bit, and I usually turn around 600 RPM for acrylic and a little bit faster for ebonite. I don't really pay a lot of attention to the number. It just kind of sounds right to me. It's not like turning metal. You know, it's you got a fairly wide range that you can work with. And we're not trying for the most part to get a perfect finish. We're just trying to get a rough shape that we're then going to file and sand and everything else. So it's not that critical. But yeah, around 600 is for, if you go faster than 600 with acrylic, it starts to melt and that creates quite a mess. Yeah, Andrew, if you work with Bakelite, you really have to use a respirator and make sure you clean up the dust and everything. The dust is a bit dangerous. Yes, Gary, we are going to get Tim West. I just haven't been able to schedule that yet, but hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. And thank you, Eddie. Yeah, I like the first impressions myself. It's just a matter of finding a tobacco that nobody's tried and getting folks that are willing to wait for the show. Bakelite is hard to come by, Paul, and it's very expensive because of that. Oh, I've seen them Meerschaum Mountaineer double bowled pipes. Yeah, I think it would be hard to get the pressures balanced across the two bowls, but interesting. Oh, that's a cool pipe, Doug. An Ashton made by John Ashton Taylor with a Bakelite stem. Very cool. Yeah, Gary, there's now some lucite's, acrylics, resins that are being sold with the name Cumberland. Traditionally, Cumberland has been colored ebonite, but yeah, there are now some, and they look very similar to the ebonite Cumberlands that are being made with the plastics rather than rubbers. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are saying stop calling it Cumberland, call it brindled ebonite, because then it's clear what you're getting. You know, if I bought a Cumberland stem and it turned out to be lucite, I'd be a little upset about that because I don't really like acrylics and lucites. Phil Rivera, hello, Phil. Good to see you tonight. Jose Cavendish, I'm familiar with those pipes. I don't own any. All right, Welsh Piper, thanks for joining us tonight. You take care. Have a great weekend. Tim, I'm sure whatever you call your new blend, it'll be just wonderful. Paul Johnson, you have a great weekend too, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Oh, gotcha, Hillbilly Piper. Phil might be a better guy to tell us about lathe speed for turning wood, for turning stummels, because he's actually done it. Yes, Eddie, the Hooters vlog. I know. I just don't think they're going to let me do a live stream from Hooters. And more importantly, I don't think Mrs. CaneRod will let me do a live stream from Hooters. She would have when we were in Atlanta. That was a different type of Hooters. Now I know somebody out there just looked up and said, "What? There's different types?" Yeah. I really don't know what else to say about this other than it's okay. You know, it's one of those blends that it's completely non-offensive, but it doesn't really do anything. You know, it's just kind of, it's okay. So Phil says he turns around 1200 to 1600, but I may say not less than 1200. The slower you turn, the more pronounced the corners become. 2500 or higher is good. Gotcha, Phil. And I guess that a lot of it has to do with how off center you are and how off balance you are, I should say. You know, so once you get things sort of round, you can turn that speed up. Oh, Tim. During the Yahoo days, Mel Cates would make pipes out of olive wood. Safer to turn at the highest speed you're comfortable with. That's good advice, Phil. Tossed in the street and hit with an iron skillet. I may well be, Patrick. Yeah, Sailor, I think that's pretty accurate. If it was the only tobacco in the world, yeah, I probably wouldn't smoke as much, but yeah, I'd smoke it. Big Dave, Meerschaum Mountaineer, just mentioned that he saw one, or maybe, yeah, he saw one on eBay, I think. A pipe with two side-by-side bowls. Oh, and Corvette Jim has too. I've seen pictures of them. I've never actually handled one. Yeah, I've worked on amber stems, Gary, and they're very fragile. Yeah, I don't understand the side-by-side bowls, how you would smoke them both at the same time and actually get the same draw through both bowls, because if they were packed even slightly different, you would be drawing more through one than the other. I don't know. Seems like that would be difficult to make work. Big carburetor. That's probably accurate, Phil. I think we're finally getting to the bottom of the Sunset Harbor Flake here. Bill Rivera, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Oh, now I've done it. I really appreciate that, Phil. Well, I don't know what the little pulsating noob thing is. Is that a... I don't know what that is. It's a positive note. That's fine. Ah, yeah, I think I'm done with the Sunset Harbor flake for tonight. Again, not bad. If you're a fan of English or Balkan, you may find it to be a really good blend. But for me, it just doesn't have enough going on outside of that Latakia to make it enjoyable. Everett Young needs an auto-loading pipe. How about, Everett, how about if we get you one that's got like 6 barrels on the top and you can just rotate the barrel every bowl? It's fine, Phil. It just was, it was kind of funny. Only 4-barrel pipe. And I think Tim is telling us it was a game control, which would explain the little plus thing at the top, I guess. One of those like Xbox controllers. Semi-automatic pipe. You know, Everett, if I ever have the time, I'm gonna try to make you a multi-barrel revolver pipe. Robert Miller, hello there. Good to see you tonight. I've switched back to Haunted Bookshop in the Savinelli. Sailor had an auto-loading pipe once in the Philippines. She was great. You know, I know at least one guy that his wife loads his pipe for him, and I know that was a big thing. Bela Lugosi's wife would load his pipe for him, and he said that the pipes were sweeter when she loaded them. St. Patrick's show ideas. Well, that's a possibility, Tim. Maybe we can do something for St. Patrick's Day. No, Lord Hogarth. I skirted. I approached that issue once and nearly got. Well, I got into trouble. I ain't touching that one with a 10-foot pole. Oh, Doug's got a birthday coming up on March 23rd, huh? You're probably going to wish you didn't tell me that, Doug. Let's see, when is March 23rd? It's a Wednesday. Okay. Phil, I don't know what a ting ting is, but I ain't touching it with your 10-foot ting ting. Lord Hogarth, I appreciate the offer, but I'm not the man for the job, I'm afraid. It is pretty consistently on the 23rd, I'm sure, Phil. Thank you for pointing that out. Big Dave's asking what folks are paying for gas, and I have no idea. I drive, I can't remember the last time I filled up my tank. Honestly, last time I went to a gas station was probably when I went to Boswell's back in December. My wife drives. She fills up her car. My car hasn't moved in months. That's going to change soon, though. Crazy. $4.79 in Southern California? Wow. Big Country Briar got hooked into a game called Sleeping Queens. And the water boy to the rescue. Well, good to have you back, Cole. Where did I put my... There it is. Ganjuana, hello, friend. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. I'm trying to gauge my drink a bit better this week. I mean, the problem with the gas prices going up, of course, is that's going to ultimately impact on everything. Because we need gasoline to get things from one place to another. And it's disproportionately hurting the poorer folks because they need to get to work and they can't afford to do that. You know, it's just it's a mess. Gary Edminster vodka wins again. Well, I've gone up against vodka a few times and it always wins. Yeah, Jim, robbed at the grocery store and the gas pumps, and that's after you've been robbed by the tax man. At this point, Tim, I think the world wears a very large diaper. New drilling for oil and natural gas have been increasing every week for months now. But where, Big Dave? And it's probably too little too late at this point. Yes, Patrick, the cable companies take a chunk. And they figured out the whole streaming thing pretty early on and really have us over a barrel because, at least here, there's no clear way that you can get the internet service that you would need to do things like Netflix without just getting the darn cable service. That's a good point, Doug, about the shipping, yeah. Oh, in the US? Gotcha, Dave. Yeah, the Keystone Pipeline, it's a darn shame what they did there. I do not understand that. You know, I've joked a bit about, especially with my buddy Tim, about environmental concerns and stuff. And I'm no tree hugger by any stretch, but I do like the outdoors. I do like fishing. I do value trout streams quite a bit, and I understand the issues with the Keystone Pipeline. But I'm also a realist. I mean, we need the oil, and this is just what we're doing is stupid. Oh, Big Country Briar got Old Joe Krantz white by mistake. Never had it. Um, I never got into any of the white and red and blue and all that stuff with the Old Joe Krantz. I like the original. Yeah, Patrick, cell phone companies do it too. I mean, I remember back when I was a single guy, I had whatever cable service you got because you didn't get to choose. You know, it was whatever was there. And uh, probably paid, I don't know, $30, $40 for it. And I had a phone because nobody had a cell phone at the time. And, you know, that was probably $40, $50, depending on how much long distance I used. Now our cable bill's like $300 and our cell phone bill's like $300, and there's no way to change it. You know, you're just stuck with it. It's crazy. Lord Hogarth, I'll defer to you on that because I honestly don't know much about it, but I would guess that a lot of those pipelines aren't going from places that have oil to places that need oil. But I really don't know. Oh, that's interesting, Scott. I didn't know that they were old blends that were renamed. I thought they were variations on Old Joe Krantz. But a lot of the Cornell and Deal blends are sort of variations on a theme, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Yeah, Scott, it is a lot of money, and don't quote me on it. I may be completely wrong. My wife handles all that. Oh, Michael Case, I admire that. Never had cable in 73 years. Wow. I watch so little TV. It's my wife. She loves her Hallmark, as you've heard me discuss ad nauseum. And she watches other things too. She does watch some network stuff and all. But it's her favorite form of entertainment, and that's fine. And of course, we need the internet connectivity anyway, so or at least I do. Um, yes, Jeff Shandy Gaff, very good blend. Ah, I see what you're saying, Lord Hogarth. Okay, yeah. So his point is that we've already got all these pipelines. Why is the Keystone such an issue in terms of environmental concerns? Uh, yeah, I get you. We're on the same page there. Corvette Jim, maybe mine is more in the 150 range. I was just pulling numbers out of the air. I probably overestimated it. I don't know. I think it's more than that though. Maybe it was a combination of the two that was 300 though. Now that I'm thinking of it. Oh, Jim. Hallmark sent a sympathy card. That's funny. I tell you, they've got a loyal audience. Well, folks, we'll hang on for a couple more swallows here, but we are coming up to the end. Really, Texas Piper? I don't know much about streaming. I don't even know what a streaming battle is, but I'm not surprised. Gary, I don't think he would know what he liked if you told him. And on that note, I'm done. All right, folks, this has been a lot of fun. Enjoy you taking the time out to join me. It's always the high point of my week. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I'll be back on Sunday with a video. I'm probably going to talk about Sunset Harbor Flake, and I'll tell the story of how my cell phone got wet. So something to look forward to. Unless something more exciting happens between now and Sunday, we'll see how it goes. But again, thank you all very much for joining me. We'll be back again next week, same time, and I'll look forward to seeing you all then. Take care.